Let's meet Lucy, who's talking to Richard on a beautiful, busy day. They're standing on the sidewalk outside of a busy downtown office building. She looks like she's had a night of partying. A little rough around the edges. She's laughing and happy, though. We've all been there, am I right? She's fully hungover and a little tired. She wants to go home and rest before her classes the next day. But Richard needs her help first, before he will let her leave. They're talking and teasing, and Richard's trying to make a deal with Lucy. If she'll just deliver this package, she can go, and all will be well. Everything's gonna be fine, he keeps saying. I just need you to take this inside. He says he's been here too many times over the last week and can't be seen again or it'll seem suspicious. Richard and this situation are very suspicious anyway. Richard comes off like a pimp. Not gonna lie, Lucy seems like a party girl and somewhat indifferent, carefree and fun, but also doesn't seem to have good taste in men. She's somewhat unimpressive at this moment and seems like a pushover. This is obviously why Richard was attracted to her, it seems. Lucy just wants to leave, and deep down, we sense she already feels like something might be off. Richard keeps pushing her and finally handcuffs the briefcase to her arm. Lucy is clearly very upset, scared, and pissed off. She has to go inside the building and deliver the briefcase to Mr. Jane. Without knowing what is inside, Lucy is scared to death.
Take this off me right now!
She walks into the front lobby. She's currently in Taiwan, so there's a little bit of a translation issue from her English to Taiwanese. They ask her name, and she says Richard asked her to deliver the package. She doesn't want to share her info, but they won't let it go, so she has to say her name is Lucy. Guards come crawling out of the woodwork and start grabbing Lucy, and she's in total panic and sharing. As she watches Richard get shot outside, blood goes all over the glass and Lucy is freaked out. She's dragged upstairs where she's seated and surrounded by armed men. Mr. Jang is clearly the head honcho and makes an appearance from out of a room of dead bodies. And this has not escaped Lucy. She's begging for her life when he sits down. They can't communicate, so a translator's called. He tells her via Mr. Jang to open the package with the code she's been given. Everyone clears the room and she reluctantly does so, expecting her life to end when the briefcase opens. Instead, she finds 4 large bags of brilliant blue rocks. Drugs, she knows. A junkie is brought to test it, and when he goes a little nuts but doesn't die, then he's shot for his participation. And Lucy thinks she's next. Instead, Mr. Jang offers her a job. She's like, what? It's odd given the circumstances. She gets knocked out instead. Let's go meet Professor Norman, who's giving a brilliant lecture on cerebral capacity. He's stating that most humans are at 10% of our capacity. Few others have been able to reach a bit further inside, but not by much. Dolphins are at 20%, and that's how they invented sonar communication between themselves. Cute little nerds. He speaks eloquently and is quite knowledgeable. He has devoted his life to study. Let's give him a moment to really draw the class in and check back in on Lucy. Lucy wakes up with her stomach bandaged and surgery marks, and she feels like crap, it would seem. Bloody gauze tells her her organs are gone. Or she's now a drug mule. She's dazed and confused. She's barely had a chance to come to when guards escort her to the lobby, where an English man is speaking rapidly, telling her that she and the other poor saps they kidnapped are all going to different countries with drugs in their bellies. And there, they will be taken in, and the drugs will be removed.
How are you?
That is a lot to take in right after you wake up. No coffee was even offered. He acts like business as usual. They are all warned that their families will be killed if they veer off course at all. This guy is so out of place here, and it makes him seem scary and believable. Everyone is scared. Lucy is stammering and doesn't seem to grasp what's happening. She's given a drink by Mr. Jang. She downs it, and out she goes. All I can think about is the information rate among this group. They weren't given any aftercare advice at all before they left the country.
We have the names and addresses of the families of every one of you.
Meanwhile, the professor is explaining that we procreate in order to pass the knowledge that we learn on to the next generation, so that our knowledge and understanding progress. We as humans have a need and desire to learn more and expand our minds with each generation. It is a divine right that is continuously handed down. Damn, this man is compelling, and he has a voice you just want to listen to, like Morgan Freeman has.
If the habitat is favorable, they will choose to reproduce.
Lucy wakes up in this concrete room with a really impatient guy that wants the drugs, and Lucy is not having it. She's scared and doesn't understand, so the guy beats Lucy and kicks her and leaves her to consider her actions. But the man has set off an explosion inside her body because the drug bag has opened up and is draining into her rapidly. Her nerves and cells start exploding, and neurons are firing off rapidly as her body fights to grab onto the new stimulus. She's crawling the walls and ceiling, and her body is on fire on the inside. Her eyes turn a brilliant shade of blue, same as the drug rocks. The professor is stating that no human has ever reached 20% of brain capacity. But it seems to us that Lucy just got there. We can control other people at 40%, the professor says, because we have total control over objects around us at that point. Telekinesis and many other abilities open to us the further we expand our minds. But it's not humanly possible to get that high. No one can control matter. We have no way of studying the sciences behind the what-ifs because it's just not a possibility. But what if a student will ask, what would happen if we ever reached 100% cerebral access?
I have no idea.
Lucy has been sitting in quiet contemplation, feeling herself, if you will, when an angry guy comes back in. She's lost in thought as her brain and body catch up to each other. She's awakened in a way no other human has been before. She's also above the BS now, so she makes quick work of taking him and everyone else down before escaping into the city. She can feel, hear, and sense everything. Realizes she can now understand other languages as well. She will make her way to a hospital surgical room where she will quickly diagnose and kill a patient that wasn't going to live anyway. And from there, she'll insist the surgical team remove the drugs from her belly. They take them out while she's on the phone with her mom. That's not weird, right? Calling mom during surgery? She tells her mom she can feel and see and sense everything and remember everything from her birth to now. She can feel space and air and the gravitational pull. She's crying and seems to be aware she is dying. She is saying goodbye in a way.
Mom, I feel everything.
It's all so much to understand, yet she does understand it all. Her mom is confused, and this scene is actually very sad because we know already that this is not the Lucy we first met. This was a wild child that came to Taiwan for school, that loved her mom, and called home regularly. And now she's changing and can't even explain what is happening. She's only telling her mom, I can remember it all. When the doctor removes the bag, he knows right away what it is, CPH4. It's a synthetic version of a natural hormone that pregnant women develop in the 6th week of pregnancy. It gives the fetus all the information and substance it needs, and is equivalent to an atomic bomb of energy and information. Essentially, it tells the fetus to grow limbs and move and develop and expand. It makes the body and brain come to life.
It packs the power of an atomic bomb.
The doctor says he heard they were trying to recreate it, but didn't know they had figured out how. Aren't we all now thinking if it exists for a movie, then it exists in our world now? Lucy knows it's now running in her veins and awakening her further, and she won't be able to live long. She will have to embrace it fully or not at all. She needs to take care of business. Lucy returns to the scene of the crime and kills everyone in the high-rise office building she was held in. On her way to find Mr. Zhang in his lair, she kills even more guys. They clearly all deserve it. She stabs Mr. Zhang's hands and rapes his brain of the knowledge he carries of the locations to where the other drugs are being taken. He's very upset and yells. Lucy now knows she needs all the drugs to completely open her mind and share that knowledge with the world. She has a mission and to complete, so she has to act fast. But wait, I don't know why she didn't kill him unless he's needed later. Lucy returns to her apartment, gives her roommate some quick medical advice, and searches the internet for much-needed info. She's doing this at an alarming rate. She is reading and studying everything ever published by Professor Norman. The professor gets a call, and it's Lucy. She has read his research and needs to meet with him. To say he is confused is putting it mildly, and when she explains who she is and what has happened, he seems skeptical, as one would be. So Lucy shows him her abilities by showing up on his TV and phone and laptop. She can be everywhere because she's on a higher level. He is astonished and fascinated and shocked. Lucy wants to know how, what she should do with all this knowledge and power. The professor says, we are here to progress, and then pass on what we learn. So Professor Norman says, pass it on. They make a plan to meet.
Pass it on.
Lucy must get to the other drugs, and to do this, she must travel coach, just like everyone else. How do you like them apples, all those brains, and still can't fly? So she gets all prettied up and can now change her appearance instantly. And so she does so in order to board a flight and not be caught. She's on the news everywhere. She's now at 30% and makes contact with a lead officer at the police department, explaining about the drugs and that she will need them all once they have been captured. His name is Pierre, and he seems completely lost. But Lucy is very persuasive. She tells him who the men are that are carrying drugs and where to find them. She explains what happened and who's responsible. Lucy gets seated on the plane and drinks her champagne. She will work feverishly on her laptop and draw attention to herself with her ability. She's now at 40% and her mind is taking control of her body.
Yes, of course.
She doesn't have time for the tray in upright position, please, and kind of loses it here. Her impatience is growing. Also, her teeth are falling out. Her body is in fight or flight mode, as the professor said the body does. She's going to have a weird Sandman moment when she becomes one with the universe and falls apart. The human body can only handle so much, and her brain is overriding her body's will. She has to inhale, like seriously scarf down massive amounts of the CPH from the bag, removed from her body. She goes to town on it like I do with chips. She eats it and is feeling whole again when she turns to sand and disappears.
Miss, are you okay?
Meanwhile, our trusty cops have found and captured all the men and are taking them to the hospital for drug removal. It's like organ cropping, but not. When Lucy comes to, she's in a hospital at 50% cerebral capacity and needs all the drugs. She takes out all the staff trying to keep her there and finds the cop she called Pierre. She needs his help and shows him he can give it willingly or she'll take it. She's not aggressive anymore, not upset or nervous. She just is. She seems to have lost all human emotion after a certain point was reached, and is in fact becoming robot-like. Her intelligence takes away all her anxiousness, because there no longer is an unknown, and that's the only thing that scares us, the unknown. Pierre gives in to her wishes. He's a smart guy, even without blue rocks. They head to the hospital where the other victims are being worked on in surgery.
Crying. I'm gonna drive.
And get into a pretty cool car chase. The movie needed one, I think. The drugs are going to be removed and all the other victims will be killed. I know this seems harsh, but they would have died one way or another. The airwaves and cell phone data tells Lucy that Mr. Zhang and his cronies are out looking for the drugs as well, and that her death is all he seeks. He's obviously still upset about his hands getting stabbed. So touchy, some people. So the chase was from Mr. Zhang's guys. Mr. Zhang's henchmen get to the hospital and are about to get away with all the drugs when Lucy arrives. She's past the cerebral stage that allows her to now control others, so Lucy does just that. She quite literally moves men out of the way and blows off the attack like they aren't even there. Guns taken away and the men are just floating in the air, and they are mad. She gets all her drugs and is headed out the door. Police officer Pierre is staring, dumbfounded. He cannot believe or understand what's happening. Lucy will kiss him, but you can see she's completely detached as a human. It's just a gesture now, but a thank you all the same. Pierre follows Lucy and will help her from here on out. He doesn't understand, but can see she means no harm. Mr. Zhang spots her leaving the hospital. She's completely lost in thought and doesn't see him. He follows Lucy and Pierre on their way to meet the professor at the college campus. Lucy and Pierre enter the university in a hurry and cautious, and say as much to all the professors gathered there. Professor Norman has given all the other professors the lowdown on Lucy, and they all want to ask questions and understand. This is exactly what the movie's about, the human brain wanting and needing more knowledge. The questions begin, and Lucy tells them everything she currently knows. She's at about 60%. All the Taiwanese gang members, including the drug lord, have made it to the campus and are fighting it out in the hallway with the cops that have surrounded the building. They're giving Lucy and Pierre time to work. Guns are blazing and tension is very high. Lucy shows the doctors an example of what it all means. She's breaking her thoughts down and telling them what she knows now. It all comes down to time. We have taken our vast amounts of knowledge and have made it small so we can understand it better. We cannot understand when it is large and open to us. We quite literally do not have the ability to comprehend. We know so much but cannot allow ourselves to have it. So much so that we had to condense it to so little, so tangible, just so that we can live without going insane. We've all seen the top of a mountain and water all around, and under the water is a huge mountain. This signifies the amount of brain above the water we use and the part under the water that we cannot get to. Lucy's mountain is almost completely out of the water. Basically what Lucy says it boils down to is that time is the only proof of our existence. Without time, we don't exist.
Without time, we don't exist.
She explains that she will need all the rest of the drugs so she can go matrix on the world and discover 100% cerebral capacity in order to pass the knowledge on. It's her duty now, and she can't be talked out of it. Her body will die anyway. When the professor asks her how she will do that, she says she'll build a new kind of computer with all her knowledge and make sure he has a password, essentially. She's at 70% when they hook up her IVs and start administering the drugs to her. They've been melted down to a liquid, and she takes them quickly and all at once. 80%. The fighting in the hallway has reached its peak, and everyone's dying and shooting. Lucy's at 90% when she starts to become black slime and enters every possible electronic device around her and proceeds to build a superhuman computer. She's reaching out to the far ends of the universe and her body is being taken over by the knowledge slime. She goes back in time to the 1800s, to the Indians, and then barren lands. She has gone way back to where the dinosaurs lived, back to the beginning. Lucy is so quiet and contemplative. She has pure understanding of what, when, and why. She is complete calm in all the madness around her, here in her mind and outside of it. She will keep going until she touches life itself. While this is happening, all the bad guys have died and the room has fallen away into a white space where the computer, that is Lucy, is coming to life. The professors are confused and Professor Norman seems fascinated. This is what his entire study and pursuit has been. This very knowledge is being given to him. Knowledge that would have stayed locked away forever. This moment and its greatness do not seem lost on him. But in the room outside the mind, Mr. Zhang is pointing a gun at Lucy and moving in slow motion as he walks up to her. She's traveling back and does not see her shooter or anything around her. She is close to 100%. This part is a little scary. Is she going to die before it's complete and all of it dies with her? When the gun does go off, Lucy is gone, one with the universe, everywhere and nowhere. Her clothes fall empty to the floor, and Mr. Zhang looks around with zero understanding of what's happened. If this guy uses more than 3% of his brain, I'd be shocked. Pierre kills Mr. Zhang, and the professors all look around, completely confused, but also not. They're smart guys after all. Pierre also asks, "Where's Lucy?"
Where is she?
A black slime hand gives Professor Norman a literal scan disc with everything Lucy knows on it. And then all the black slime that was Lucy is gone. Anyone else feel like that could easily be misplaced? Make a copy. Lucy is now everywhere. This Earth was given to us a billion years ago, and what have we done with it? What will we do with it now that we have all this information at our fingertips? So, what do you guys think? Would you want to tap into more of your cerebral capacity if you could? How far would you go? Would you use the power for good or evil? I have to wonder now, how many humans have gone further? Do you believe we cannot go beyond 10%? No one has caught up to a dolphin? So many deep philosophical questions to be asked and answered with this movie. Give it some thought. Until next time.
Thank you very much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you can hit the like button and subscribe. It will help me grow my channel. I hope you have enjoyed this recap, and be sure to subscribe so you'll get notified of new videos that I have just uploaded. Cheers!